Have you ever thought about moving abroad, but you're just too scared to and just take that next step? Well, today's guest did just that. She moved her whole family, and I'm talking her husband, her daughter, their 2 dogs. They went all the way to Thailand, and they almost had to come back because they didn't have the right visas. Today, she's going to tell us about the process, the ins, the outs, the ups and downs, what school is like, and just everything about life in Thailand. Let's get right into it.
Got me upside down, spinning around you.
All right, I am so excited, Nancy, to have you on. I miss you guys so much, but let's get into it. Nancy, tell everybody where you're originally from.
I was born in Thailand, and I have 3 siblings. My parents originally thought, when I was 3 years old, they thought, well, let's move to the U.S. I mean, they had an amazing life in Thailand, but they had a big family also. And they kind of felt like there were some family challenges. So they decided, let's start a new life in the US. And they packed up everything kind of last minute and, hopped on a plane with the 4 of us kids. I was 3 years old. I had a younger brother. I have 2 older siblings. They were 6 and 7 at the time. And we all came to the US and started a life here. And, was in the US all my life, born and raised, or not born and raised, but raised in the US from the age of 3 to now, I'm in my 40s. And
Wow.
yeah, it's been a great, it was a great life in the US, but now I'm here back at my roots in Thailand.
You have this great life in the US. You go to college, you graduate, you get married, you're doing all these things. You're living what most people would say the American dream. You have real estate, everything going for you guys. At what point did you, and let me go back up for a second because it's you, it's Marcos, your husband, and Stella, and your 2 dogs. At
Yeah.
what point did you and Marcos decide, you know what? We think we might want to try living abroad at one point.
It was after just a lot of very hard work. Like Marcos, when I met Marcos, he was always very determined, just a hustler, just very determined to be successful and not just I have a good salary, successful. Like he wanted to be big, like I want to, retire while I'm still in my 40s. Like I want to, like set up my family. So Marcos always, wanted to, do something great. And so when we were in California, and we had the opportunity to move to Atlanta when I was working for a company, and it was based out here in Atlanta, and we were renting in California. So with no aspirations or no opportunity to buy anything in California, because the prices are so crazy. So I was working for a company here, and we decided to just make the move to Atlanta. We thought this is better, for our family. Stella was, I think, 3 at the time. So we thought it's our opportunity to, buy a house, transition maybe into owning our own business. So we made that move. So we came to Atlanta. He didn't start right away. He kind of learned and kind of made his way into the real estate market here. And all of a sudden, he was buying properties and investing in real estate. And it was 10 years of really, blood, sweat, and tears work to where we are now.
Wow. Now, I know that you said, because at first you guys decided to do real estate. And that's really what's helping you guys right now to have this lifestyle in Thailand, correct? Okay. Now, it's funny because I get a phone call one day. Like, no, we had been talking about moving abroad together. We were like, we're going to do this. You took us on our first experience to Thailand. You were like, no, you guys got to come with us to see what it's like. Because before that, you had been telling us that you guys were thinking about moving to Thailand.
Go
You
back
had
in.
been talking about, like, we're going to move to Thailand, and I couldn't see it. You know, I would see these TikTok videos, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But it wasn't until I got to experience Thailand for myself and our family did that I was like, oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, you know, so I'm so grateful for that experience. But let's fast forward. I get a phone call one day and you're like, Brizette, I bought some one-way tickets. We're going. We are going.
Yeah.
What was that? What made you decide to just, you know, we're doing this now?
So it wasn't a spontaneous decision. It wasn't like we thought of it and we bought our tickets. It wasn't like that quick. It was more of a, like, I would say 2 to 3 year thought process. You know, we were, you know, at first we said, hey, you know, I have to kind of back up because our situation is unique. I was working in corporate America, full-time job, you know, 9 to 5, doing the grind every day. And he was building the real estate business. It was a lot of like working together, you know, to get where we are. And, yeah, after about 10 years of it, you know, because he like when I say blood, sweat and tears, like we did flips, and we bought properties, and he would go in there and he would work on these properties himself. So he was out there doing hard labor every day for 10 years, like 6 days a week, sometimes 7. Like he never stopped for 10 years. And he was tired. So he's like, enough is enough. I think I'm done. So I said, well, I've been done with corporate America. I've been done. So, you know, when he brought up the idea of moving to Thailand, and he came up with this idea because we had gone to Thailand in 2019, and it was Stella and Marcos's first time there. And Stella was kind of young at the time, but Marcos he loved it. He was like, you know, this kind of reminds me of Mexico, just like how people hustle here, just the hustle and bustle, how busy it is, just how people are just so like, you know, they just live their life like they go to work, you know, they're happy, they just, you know, do their job and then they go home and they raise their family, and there's no like fluff. It's like not, there's no, you know, drama. So people just go to work and go home, and he's like, I like it. So that was 2019, and then the pandemic, and we all know, you know, what a disaster that was. But
Yes.
but 4 years later, we went again with our friends, with you guys.
That would be with us.
Yes. And that was another great trip. So it was like we kept having great trips, you know, back to Thailand. And then our last trip before we decided to pull the trigger was the year after, in 2020, I think 2024. We went to Thailand, and and that trip was just to kind of like confirm what we had already been thinking. Like, let's just go back and see, okay, do we really want to do this? You know, let's go back and let's kind of do what locals do. Let's go, let's not like go to the, you know, luxurious malls or like all the beautiful temples. Let's just go and like eat street food and, you know, just kind of hang out and see what the locals do. And that's what our trip was in 2024. And it was like one of our best trips, you know? So we came back and we were genuinely depressed. when we came back to the US. Like I couldn't go back to work like normal. Like I kept thinking
Mm.
about it, and Marcos was just like winding down too. And we just said, okay, we already know we're going to do it. Let's work on the timeline. Is it going to be like 3 or 4 years, or is it going to be like 5 or 6 years? That's kind of what we were thinking. Um, so that was 2024. And February of 2025, was it? Yeah, February
Yeah.
2025. We were like, let's just pull the trigger and buy the one-way tickets. Because if we don't do it, we're never gonna do. We're just gonna keep going. Like we're gonna forget
Or
that
just
we had
keep
this
talking about it.
conversation and just keep talking
Yeah.
about it, and then just forget and like never do it. Like when is enough enough? Like he already made it. I was already like, sick of my job,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking to you guys about it,
Yeah.
and you guys, you had this idea to do that too, like back in
Yeah.
like pandemic days. You were
Mm-hmm.
gonna move too,
Yeah.
and we said, let's just do it. So we're like, let's just buy the tickets. Let's come up with a date. We'll buy the one-way tickets, and that's it. We'll just plan from there. So
And that was so great because I was really impressed. I was like, wait, what? You bought one-way tickets? But I know when you went on your last trip in 2024, isn't that when you went and made sure that your residency and your paperwork was correct? Or was that the time before when we went?
so yeah, that was kind of, I always, every trip back, I always kind of like secured something, right? So
Okay.
just to make sure, like, cause, I was born in Thailand, so, and I have US citizenship, so I have dual citizenship. So every trip back was to secure something. So, in 2019, I got my Thai ID. So that made me a Thai national, like officially. And so I had my Thai ID. So then the next thing to do was to get my passport. So in 2024, I went and got my Thai passport. So then I was like, yay! I got my Thai passport. I'm official, like really official. So, that was the determining factor too. It was like, okay, now that I'm a, official Thai citizen with my ID and passport, it should be easy from here,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're married. We've been married for, what, like 8, 9 years, already. So shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
Uh,
shouldn't be easy. Well,
yeah, should be easy.
little did you know. Little do you
Yeah.
know, right?
Little did we know, it was a lot more
There was gonna
people.
be a whole
It would have been
yeah, it was
easier
gonna
to like not have been married and like gotten married in Thailand
yeah.
than what we
And
did.
we'll get into that because that was a whole journey within itself. But let's tell people because moving, setting the date, getting everything ready. Yes, you have all that, but it's not for the weak. It's not for weak people because what was the process that you had to go through from you left in what September? Was it August or September?
We got to Thailand in September, so we left,
Okay.
yeah, August 31st.
So you had about what 6 months to get your house and everything sold inside of your house,
Yes.
cars, businesses, everything. Walk us through that. And then you had Marcos who was like, we would try to plan, like, let's go out to eat. And he's like, are we moving to Thailand or are we spending money? He was on it.
What are you still doing with this sofa? Like it needs to be. Yeah, what are you still doing with this dresser?
Yes.
He at one point threw out all of my clothes from my dresser and was like, I sold this. So yeah, that process was very interesting. It was very stressful, but I knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. So just, you just had to do it. But yeah, it was probably around a 6-month process from the time we bought our one-way tickets to, okay, now we've got to, like really drill down and just like get rid of this stuff. And I mean, like, everybody, every other American, I mean, when you buy a house, you accumulate a lot of stuff, I mean, we weren't hoarders, but like, we had a lot of stuff. I mean, 10 years worth of stuff we accumulated in our house. So, so yeah, we started off like, calling family members, like, who wants this? Who wants that? Like, we can ship this or we can drive it over, or, trying to figure out which family member or what friends want what. And then, after that was done, then we were like, okay, so everything else. So yeah, it was just a lot of Facebook market listings, garage sales, to try and get rid of everything. And, I think, one lesson I learned, and just a mistake I made, was spending too much time like thinking like, where stuff is gonna go, like, like parts of the stuff I owned, I tried to, sell on like ThreadUp, or one of those like clothing sites where you
Offer
just,
up and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like you list stuff and then you try. No, it's a waste of time. Like, what are you gonna like make a dollar here and there? Like, you just need to just, suck it up and just get rid of everything, because at the end of the day, literally the day before we moved, we were giving stuff away that was like, expensive stuff. We were like, who wants this? Let me just list it up in my neighborhood, Facebook
Yeah.
page, and like, who wants this? Come and get it, because I can't have it here.
Wow.
It
And that
needs
was
to
the
be
thing that was crazy
else.
because yeah, Marcos and Jason would talk about, we would say, oh, let's have a yard sale. And he's like, for what? And both of them are like, for what? Just give it away. Just give it away.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at one point, Marcos, like, you know, he had his trailer that he was taking to the dumpster every day. He was like throwing crap in there. Just like, okay, this Dyson vacuum, you don't need it. Throw it in there. This
Yeah. And we're like, no, that's good.
exactly. He's like, this I don't know, like this bag that you have, throw it in there. This these dishes, throw it in. Like, he was just throwing stuff in the trailer to go to the dump. So, at the end of the day, like, it's all material things, and you're it was actually very like freeing and like cathartic to like get rid of
Mhm.
all of that stuff, because our ultimate goal was like, we didn't want to own anything anymore.
Yeah.
We had our properties, and we kept our house. We didn't sell our house. So that's all we wanted to own when we left. We just wanted to
Mhm.
own our properties, because that was our income. And other like material things, like, we didn't want to be tied down. We got rid of 3 cars and a trailer. um yeah, we got rid of everything before we left. So we didn't want to own anything here either in Thailand, so we knew we were going to rent. And we didn't want to own a car, because we knew, Bangkok's transportation system was really good. So we were fine. Like, we were just going to take the train and the taxi everywhere.
Make it
We didn't,
work.
yeah, we didn't want any bills. So
Yeah. Which, or the headache of having someone renting a car from you here and trying to figure all that out. And you
yeah,
even at one point you had a SUV, and to save money you traded in for a Honda Accord, which was really cute, just another
that was
way.
part of the plan, our 3 to 4 year plan, which ended up being 6 months. But yeah, that was part of that was part of the plan to like just kind of downsize, and you know, um, like decrease our bills before moving. So Yeah.
All right, let's get into the visa process. Now, this is the process that everybody might look at you and say, well, she's Thai. She has it easy. Her mom is there. It's going to be easy breezy for her. Can you tell people, was it easy breezy for you?
No, it was the most stressful, challenging, like, it's not easy dealing with the Thai government. I'll tell you that right now. It's not easy. I mean, not just the language barrier, but the amount of like foreigners and people they process per day, I think has like jaded them because you
Mm,
can't go and like have a successful day talking to any government official at the immigration office. But anyway, I mean, aside from that, the process is very buttoned up. It's like,
mm.
this is the process, and that's it. There's no alternative. So
What?
we ran into issues because um, our we're married, right? We've been married, like I
Hmm.
mentioned, for 8 9 9 years. And when we came to Thailand, we thought that we could like get our like marriage certificate in Thailand and everything like authenticated here. But I was wrong. They needed We had our original marriage certificate, but they needed authentication from like three different government like organizations in the US. We didn't get that done. It needed to be certified by those by those offices. And so we weren't coming back to get that done. So I was racking my brain like, how are we going to get this done? We just moved here. We spent all of our money coming here. We don't have any money to go back right now.
Yeah.
And we need to get this done before Marcos's e-visa was going to be up in 90 days. So we had to figure it
Mm.
out within 90 days.
And what
So,
about Stella? What kind of visa was she on?
so she was on the same, she was on they're on a family visa. So being,
Okay.
my husband and my daughter, they were like attached to like me on a
Hmm.
family visa, which gave them 90 days. And
Mm.
after the 90 days, you have to figure out how are they going to be able to stay here permanently or longer term. So the solution was to, have Marcos be on a marriage visa, and then Stella, um, I didn't know that she could permanently stay on a long-term visa under me. We thought, okay, we'll, enroll her in school eventually and she'll be on an education visa. But what we found out when we got here was that when we went to go renew Stella, they were like, oh yeah, she's your daughter. She can stay here as long as she wants.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. As long as you're here, she can be here. So that was
perfect.
great. That's new. I mean, I didn't know that. Like,
Okay.
that's something we found out, yeah, when we got here. So great. So she's done. But for Marcos, they were like, okay, well, we need to see your marriage certificate, and it needs to be authenticated by the state where you were married, by Washington, D.C., and by the Thai consulate in the state where you were married. So we moved from California to Georgia. So all of these places that they mentioned that we needed authentication from were in like three different states.
Gosh, crazy, crazy.
Yeah, we're like, okay, so we just moved here from Atlanta, and now you want us to go back to the US, and not just go back to the US, but go back to three different states in the US.
Spending
And
money, 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 and money.
I mean, I went crazy, like racked my brain, like, what am I gonna do? Um, and it took a lot of trips, going to talk to the US Embassy here in Thailand because I thought that they could help. And that wasn't easy too because to get an appointment with the US Embassy, you have to get on their calendar. I mean, it could take weeks. So I'm like,
Mm.
just looking at the calendar, counting down, like, okay, the 90 days is coming up and I have to get this all done. I'm like, this is not going to work. We're going to have to go back. Like I
Yeah.
was like almost giving up.
And
But
I remember, yeah, I remember getting a phone call from you and you were like freaking out. You were like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" Like Marcos, they want this apostle, they want this and that. And I'm like, "It's okay. Breathe. What can I do?" And so that's where I would tell people that you need to make sure that you have connections in the US. Like you can't, this wouldn't be good for someone who is by themselves because if you didn't have family and friends, and you were just kind of a loner, it would be hard because you would have to fly back,
yeah,
So I remember,
yeah,
huh?
you would have had no choice but to fly back and do it in person, But
Hmm.
luckily, yeah, I reached out to you and was like, "Hey, this is what's happening." And you, thank God, got right on it and saved us a lot
Yeah.
of time because you got what, like 2 steps done in one day for us.
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing? It made it easy for me because like I'm like, oh, I know what to do for when it's our turn, and it's a lot, they want something apostle, but then you go to one office and one office is like, no, you have to go over here, and then you have to go downtown, and it's, a bunch of red tape. They don't make it easy. And then sending stuff off to California. And I know Marcos, he ran into some issues because he was born in Mexico, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So he was born in Mexico and he has dual citizenship with Mexico and the US. And he had problems with his name because in Mexico, you use like your mother's maiden name and your father's last name, and you have like 5 names. And so when we went to go, you know, get our like marriage certificate, they're like, "What name do you want to use?" And we found out like just, pulling out his birth certificate that like he had all these different names and we had to like go and like choose one, and make it like match with all of the other documents. So that was a process too. But yeah, it's if the one thing I would say is get your legal name straightened out before you move to a foreign country because they're going to want, one name and one name on all your documents. You can't be like Nancy Chua or Nancy Rodriguez or Napacorn Rodriguez. Like you have to have one name or else
Mm.
there's confusion like everywhere you go.
And luckily for you guys, you had your mother who was able to you can speak a little Thai and get by, but your mother was a big help for you guys, correct?
Yeah, she did. She went everywhere with us when we would go to the immigration office. She went with us to help us translate. She, went with us to the, foreign affairs office when we were trying to figure out the marriage license. Like so she went everywhere with us and it helped out a lot. So, but a lot
Okay,
of
and
the
so
a lot of
go
like
ahead.
the research that I did though helped as well because there's a lot of like agencies here that can help you out. So we did use an agency for part of the process.
Hmm.
And then we kind of figured out the rest. But I will say that using an agency is extremely expensive. So if you can figure it out yourself, um, that would probably be the best thing. But if you're like not confident and you don't speak the language, you probably have to hire an agency.
And roughly what would be the cost? Because I know for us and for the average person, since we don't speak the language, I mean, luckily I could be like your mom, hey, help us. But someone who doesn't have someone like your mom, what would you would say an agency? How much does that cost about?
So I don't know the full cost, but I can tell you just for translating a few documents. I think
Mhm.
like 3 or 4 documents. Like it was our marriage certificate, his uh birth certificate, and then his passport. Like 3 or so documents, plus going to the immigration office for us. I think he wanted, if I remember, almost $1,000 just to do that. And that's only a little, like a very small part of the process. So almost $1,000.
Wow. And that's not even hiring someone. That's just to translate the paperwork.
Yeah,
A
that's just
thousand
to
dollars.
translate the paperwork and go to the immigration office. Like that's what I would do with my mom and get that done if
Yeah.
you wanted $1,000.
Oh my goodness. That's okay. So basically, Chat GBT is not going to help you through the whole process. You're going to have to work with someone to get it
Yeah,
done.
yeah. It
Wow.
it helps you out to a certain extent, but you it's it's crazy because I don't know how I could have done it any differently, because all the things that I found out that needed to be done, I found out by coming here. So,
Hmm.
I think I was just lucky, like you said, to have friends and family still back in the US that could help me. Because, I mean, luckily, like you're still there in Atlanta. You were able to go to the courthouse for us that day and downtown. And then my brother, happened to live in the DC area. So I didn't have to go to DC. And then with the Thai consulate in LA, from pre-pandemic days, they were still doing everything by mail. So they were like, don't come in
Hmm.
our office. Let's just do it by mail. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because, that saved a trip to LA. So
Yeah. And all those things add up. So I guess you would tell someone if they were in the States, go ahead and get all that paperwork apostled first before you go, just to have it. And that's birth
yeah.
certificates, marriage license. What else?
Yeah. So, birth certificates, your marriage license, that's it basically, because
Okay.
we needed to get, Stella's birth certificate, apostilled, and then, um, the marriage certificate had to be authenticated by all those different places.
Okay. And also your dogs. You brought two dogs over and you had to do paperwork for them as well, correct?
Yes. That was
That
that
was
was
fun.
that was another crazy process. So I would say the hiccup there was mainly you have to get, all of their exams done and all of their vaccines updated, right? So that's the easy part. Just, take them to their appointments, get that all done, but they need a health certificate. That was the biggest hiccup, because the health certificate had to be done within like a certain amount of time. So I think they gave you like 10 days from the time
Hmm.
it was ordered to when you had to show it in Thailand. So there was that 10-day process. And the appointment was fine. Um, their health, everything was fine. When it came down to it, um, the vet office that we went to, they made a mistake on something on the form. And so there was a delay. They had to like correct that mistake. And then they had to, overnight it out to us. And we needed that document before we left, before, flying to Thailand. We didn't get it in time. We didn't get that health certificate in time, because of that 2-day delay from when they made that mistake and had to correct it. And so we said, well, we have our ticket. We can't wait for this document. We have to go. So we left and hoped for the best and hoped that the Thai, airport officials would just let us through. But
Like,
that,
look the other way.
yeah, look away. Well, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
exactly. I didn't know what to expect.
Hmm.
So yeah, there was a holdup at the airport because of that health certificate. And there was a lot of, talk about, um, you know, uh, first there'd be a fine or, oh, there might be jail time or, oh, we can come after you, and find you, like a lot of kind of like threats.
Hmm.
And I said, look, like, I don't know what you want me to do, but I, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't get it in time. So
Yeah.
how can we proceed? And so ultimately they said, well, pay this amount and we'll let you go. So
Hmm.
that's what we
So you
did.
end up paying a fine at the airport for not, basically a fine for not having it and to let you get through,
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm.
Wow. So, and how much was the fee that you already paid for the certificate that you didn't even get to use?
I don't remember what the certificate cost. I remember the exams being like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like,
Hmm.
we spent thousands across all the exams and the final health exam and the certificate. It was thousands. It was no less than 2,000.
Wow.
So
And I know Marcos, I was like, Marcos is bringing Casper. Like, there's no way Casper is staying because we thought we got a call. You guys were at the airport and you were like, the cages aren't right. Oh my God. And we're like,
yeah,
okay, where do we have to go? Where do we need to
yeah,
go to get a cage? And luckily they let you guys through with the cages. But it was down, when I mean down to everything, the normal person would have just been like, it's not meant for us to go because there was a hiccup, another
yeah.
hiccup, but you guys pushed through. But it was scary because I was like, oh God. And our boys were like, it's okay. We'll keep Casper with us.
We're like, no, you have to come.
I
But
know.
yeah, it was scary because yeah, the cages, that was a different story because the crates had to be a certain size and we thought, okay, just as long as they like fit in there. I mean, they gave us dimensions, but they're not really, it's not really clear, like, and then there's nobody really that you could talk to. They're just like, go to the website, well, let me back up. We took Qatar Airways because we thought that was the best airline for transporting pets. And they were good. But again, they weren't really clear on, okay, the cage had to be this, for it to pass. And, at the end of the day, they just wanted the pets to be able to, stand up and move around, 360 degrees in the crate comfortably. But
Mm,
that's all you had to say. No, they're over
yeah,
here, measure the neck, measure the torso, measure this, measure the crate, make sure the crate is like 2 centimeters, you know, bigger than the head. I mean, it's like all these measurements, but all you had to say was just make sure that they could turn around in the cage. So
exactly.
yeah, so here I am racking my brain over all these measurements, converting everything from inches to centimeters like all day long. And we get to the airport and they're like, telling our pets, "Okay, stand up, turn around." And like Casper's head barely like, fit in there when he stood up, and they're like, "Nope, it's not going to work. He's not going to be able to go." Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, why? And that's when they told me that rule. And I was just like devastated. I'm like, we're not going to be able to go. Um, but luckily, I don't know if we just got a nice, representative and she just let it slide or if she was actually being like difficult at first so that I don't know,
Hmm.
like, to have this argument with her. But ultimately, she was like, okay. She's like, I'm going to let them through.
Nice. Oh gosh. Because I know you were like, it's okay. Because we were on our way to Petco. We were like, let's go to Petco. What are we
Yeah,
gonna do? So I
I
was
called you
so
like, I need a
grateful.
new cage. I need a new crate.
Yeah. Because out of the two dogs, it could not be Casper. Casper was going.
Right, right. Casper is going with us. Like,
Casper is going. Oh
yeah.
gosh. All right, let's talk about moving with kids. Now, when we talked about you got taking Stella, well, of course, Stella was going. Your plan was that Stella, you had made this plan. Stella's going to be homeschooled. She's the only child. She likes being at home. This is going to be easy breezy. We're going to get to Thailand. We're going to travel around. We're going to live our best lives. Stella had other plans.
Yes,
Tell
she
us
did
about
indeed.
that. Like, how did that
So
process work?
we pulled Stella out of school, and it was only a month or so that she didn't go to school until we moved. And my plan was to just, like homeschool her, or like have her do online classes for at least a year, until we figured out, like, we got settled into Thailand, and we figured out, budget and expenses and everything. That, this would be one less thing to worry about. Just, have her homeschooled, like, we'd have the freedom to, like you said, just travel and explore Thailand, and, just be a little bit more mobile, so that, like, okay, if we didn't want to, like, if we found a place and we don't want to stay, we could, like, move again, or like move multiple times if we had to. So that was the plan. But when we got here, it was, and that's something to think about too, because if your kids are social, by nature, like, they're going to want to be around other kids, and they're going to miss that interaction, and they're going to want to play with other kids, or, like, just, at least have, some friends. And we
Yeah.
didn't really think about that. We thought she'd be happy to, like, not go to school, or not go physically to school. But yeah, it was after, I would say, like a month or so. No, it wasn't even a month, maybe like 2 weeks or so. She was
Hmm.
like, I want to go to school. Wait,
Like what?
yeah,
We didn't have that in the budget. Wait a minute.
I'm ready to go to school, Mom. Like, I can't stay at home. No, I need to go to school. I need friends. I want friends. So,
Mm.
so
Yeah, and
that's
then
when,
how do you tell your kid no? How do you say, no,
yeah,
you're fine? Because, but you guys were good because you found how do you say it? Jujitsu, right?
jujitsu.
Or martial, yeah, okay, I'm like, jujitsu.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
did.
found something for her, right?
Yeah, she was doing jujitsu in the US, and she loved it. So we decided, like, let's at least, put her in that, and like other extracurricular things, so she doesn't, like, miss the, social aspect of it. She could, like, make friends there. And
Hmm.
just wasn't the same. I think it was just, it's hard to transition, because kids already have their friends,
Hmm.
and it was hard to kind of break through that. Like, she was like, oh, well, you know, I don't really want to, like, talk to them because they already have their own friends. And so, she didn't really enjoy it as much. So we took her out of that, and she's like, I just want to go to school. And so we said, okay. So that's when we started kind of asking around, like, different people that we would meet, like, do you know of a good international school? Like, what schools are good out there? And, we didn't, like, have no idea. Like, we knew there were international schools, and like what they were, but we also knew the prices, the
Hmm.
cost. And we were like, that doesn't quite fit into our budget right now. you
Yeah,
know,
because you're trying to make everything work and fit. But at this point, as a parent, because I remember that day Stella got in the car, we picked her up from her friend's house and she was boo-hooing. And it's a big adjustment for them moving somewhere else. So it's like you got to make them happy too. You can't just say, well, this is our lifestyle. You got to deal with it.
right, right. Because it was our choice to move. It wasn't her
Hmm.
choice, and we're, kind of bringing her along and uprooting her, from what she's always known. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I mean, Marcos and I had this conversation. We're like, we have to like adapt, and we have to make sure that she's happy too. This was our decision. So so we, we started looking for schools, and we said we have to make it work. Even if it's not in our budget, we have to make it work.
Mm. Wow. And how did you decide between a public school and the international schools? Are public schools an option for kids who don't speak Thai?
Yeah, that's the challenging part is public schools are all Thai curriculum.
Mm.
So that wouldn't work, I mean, it
Okay.
would just be too hard to, for her to follow along. She speaks no Thai. So unfortunately, like doesn't understand it, hasn't, really been around it. So yeah, it had to be an English curriculum. And so
Okay.
international schools were the only option. But there's, different, I guess, levels of international schools. And, some are more highly regarded than others. So, we didn't need to obviously put her into the best international school, it didn't have to be the best curriculum. Like we just, it was more our first priority was the social aspect. Like we
Hmm.
wanted her to be around, friends and to make new friends. And then secondary was the education. But of course, I mean, we want, a good education, just didn't have to be the best.
Yeah. Because Stella is very smart, so you can always supplement if you had to. But what were the price ranges you were seeing for international schools from the high to the low
Yeah, so
monthly?
um I'll start with the high because when I was in the US doing research, I was just going to the best schools because I was like, okay, well, let's see what that is and what that costs. And it's astronomical. Like I'm talking $20,000 a year and up.
Wow.
Um, so, when I did the conversion from Thai baht to US dollar, I was like shocked. I'm like, okay, like this is not for normal people, like not
Hmm.
your typical middle class, family,
Yeah.
moving to uh a foreign country. Like, you're not gonna have 20,000 extra dollars a year to spend on your children's education. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Just
especially
like, oh,
West public schools are free, Then I found out not only is the cost like, like that's not just the cost. The $20,000 is just like part of it. It's
hmm.
so hard to get into these schools because okay, this is another thing I found out. There are some rich people in Thailand. It's not your third world country like everybody's struggling. Like there are a lot of rich people here and they
Hmm.
all like Thai nationals like they want their kids to have the best education, so they'll pay for it. So there's competition to get into these schools.
Mm.
So you pay the tuition if you can get a spot, right? So
Uh-huh.
you do that, but that's just part of it. To get a spot, you're bribing like the schools. You're throwing out donations in the millions. So and that I couldn't even get Stella a spot in that school with $20,000. It would have to
Oh
be
my
like
gosh.
1.2 million.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. So that's what people don't know. They just think, well, I'm going to go over there, get them in a school. But no, unless you have millions to back that, you're not getting
Yeah.
into this school.
Yeah, because you're needing to, sponsor this and, donate that and, bribe this professor and bribe, so it's the culture here. And, yeah, so you couldn't even get in with 20,000. Like, even if you had 20,000 to give, it wouldn't even be enough.
It wouldn't be that's like, oh, that's cute. That's
Yeah.
cute. Go ahead and keep your little 20,000.
Yeah.
So
You
cute.
can go back on that wait list of 3,000 people.
Oh gosh. Wow. So how did you guys eventually find the school that she is in?
So, the school that we ended up enrolling her in is called Wells International, and
Hmm.
it's a good school. They have like the two programs. They have like the regular, education, and then they have like the IB, where it's
Hmm.
like more accreditation and more, like highly regarded. And so, we found it by just talking to people. We actually found it by talking to one of our agents who helped us find our apartment.
Okay.
He went to Wells, and we liked him a lot because he was, a Thai native, spoke really, really like good English. Like his communication skills were like top notch. And he had
Hmm.
never been to the US. It was like fluent, like he was fluent in English. And we were like, oh, like, were you like, we thought he was raised in the US. We were like, went to school. He's like, no, I went to Wells. And we're like, you've never been to the US? No, I've never been to the US. And we were shocked. We were like, we've got to look into this, Wells.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we really liked our agent, and he recommended the school, and we went, I went right to the school and emailed them and asked them if we could do a tour.
And it's nice. The school is really nice, like
Yeah,
the facility and everything.
yeah, it's really nice. And they do a lot of, a lot of like events at the school where, they invite parents to come, and we go and we get to see like what they do day in and day out, and what activities and projects they're working on. And yeah, it's really nice. And a lot of praise from Stella on like all the teachers there. Like she's like, I
Oh,
love them a lot more than the teachers I had in the US. Like, they're all really nice, and they're all really helpful, and they're all, and I noticed too, like, um, they do really care, because if they like, notice something off, like, oh, Stella didn't, turn in this project, or her grade is slipping here. They'll like email me right away, like, hey, do you want to have a conference? And it's they're very like on top of it.
oh, that's really good. Now, so the curriculum, as far as the curriculum from the US to there to Thai curriculum, do you feel like it's good, better, or about the same?
Better. I would
Better.
say Stella is a lot more challenged,
Mm.
and it's completely like on an online platform, like all of her schoolwork. So she's responsible to monitor like everything that's turned in, everything that's graded, checking her grades, and making her own schedule if she has office hours with any teachers. Like it's all, and she does it all. Like, she comes home, she's up in her room. I think she's, talking on the phone or talking to her friends in the US. No, she's getting her work done, because I recently had I recently had conferences with all of her teachers,
Hmm.
and they were all compliments, for
Oh,
self. Like you know, um, they they praised her for all of the work that she's been doing, and so she's being challenged, and I think that that's, like it says something about the school.
that's awesome. Do you mind us asking, like, how much is it for that particular school monthly?
Yeah. So it's 2 semesters.
Mm.
They're on the US curriculum. So they go from August to June, and then they
Okay.
have, summer, July, June and July. It's 2 semesters. They break it up in 2 parts. So each semester is, I think like $8,000.
That's so much more affordable than 23.
20, 20 plus a million.
20 plus a million. Wow. And that's nice. And I will, just from hearing your experience with Stella, I will say Stella is so much more independent there than she was here, because tell them about, she doesn't need you guys really to take her to school. Normally in
Yeah.
the US, you would drive her to school. How does Stella get to school?
Yeah. So Stella gets to school on her own by the BTS train. So when we first moved here, we were living in an apartment on Sukhumvit, which is like the main road in Bangkok, where you have like basically everything, all the hotels, all the malls, and everything on that road. And so we were living in like the busiest part of Bangkok, but also very accessible to the BTS stations. And so she would walk to the BTS station on her own and hop on the train and go 5 stops to her school. So, and that was, the biggest transition because, she was 12 when we moved here. She's 13 now. But
Hmm.
she was 12, and back in the US, that was unheard of. You don't just send a 12-year-old off to take, like public transportation on their own to go to school. Like, as a parent, you drive them everywhere. And if they have an after school activity, you drive them. Or if they want to go to
Hmm.
their friend's house, you drive them. It's just, that's the US. You just drive everywhere. You drive 5 minutes to the market,
Hmm.
So here, that was the shift, that we had to do was obviously we didn't have a car. So we had to take public transportation, but, you know, Stella had to take the public transportation on her own. And I had to get used to like not being there all the time with her. Like I wanted to walk her to the station. I wanted to like walk her to school and like
Hmm.
watch her go inside the school. She's like, no, mom, nobody does that. Like nobody
You're
does
cramping
that
my
here.
style.
Yeah, please don't. So after I would say maybe like a week of walking her to the station, she was like, "Yeah, I'm done with that. You don't have to do that anymore." I'm like, "Okay." I'll
As
just
I cry.
yeah, as I cry and, like I'm sad that like you don't need me or want me around. Like I'll just watch you on my iPhone and
Yeah.
see where you are, just kind of, see where you're going. And that's what I did for a while. I thought, this is my life now. I'm gonna have to watch my daughter on like this, on her little picture on my iPhone, just seeing where she's going. But yeah, after a couple weeks of that, that stopped too. So now she just, completely independent.
Yeah,
And
I think Stella out of everyone is living her best life. She's going out with her friends to the mall. Like she's living when we were talking about it, I feel like Stella is living how we were in New York, growing up. Like I took the train and the bus to school. I would go to the mall afterwards with my friends. But like you said, here in Georgia, I could never even imagine like sending Carter or Chase, to do those kind of things on their own.
yeah, I didn't even want Stella to like walk in our neighborhood on her
Hmm.
own,
Yeah.
like that's how like, the total like culture and mindset is so different from the US
Hmm.
to Thailand because in the US, you're afraid of like like abductions, and you're afraid of like kidnapping and violence and all kinds of crazy stuff. And in Thailand, that just doesn't happen here. There's like very little crime
Which
here.
is so good. And I love that for her. So do you think Stella will want to come back to the US ever? Has she talked about like, oh, I want to move back?
No, she hasn't. So, the only thing she does talk about, well, there's a couple things she does talk about. Um, she does miss her friends, which, that's getting easier because now she's made new friends, here
Hmm.
at school. But she does miss American food. Now you can't
Okay.
get American food here, in Thailand. I mean, it's over the last, like, I would say, like, few decades, like they've really like upgraded, the Western food here. Because I remember coming just in 2019, you couldn't get a good pizza or like you couldn't get a
Mm.
good burger. And Thailand's quickly becoming like a foodie, not just for Thai food, but for all kinds of food. Like
Mm.
we can get we could probably get a burger here that's better than any burger you can get in the US. You
Mm.
know, you could get like Italian pizza here that tastes like it's from Italy. Like you
Oh,
it's
wow.
like they've really like they've really upgraded their Western food. And so I really don't miss anything US, food wise.
Hmm.
Stella does because Mexican food is one thing that I think she really misses, being half Mexican.
Hmm.
That's what she loves. And you can get really, really, really good Mexican food in the US. So yeah, so that's I think her only complaint is like the food and her friends, but yeah, it's slowly like diminishing.
Wow. Now, I want to talk about a part your life of moving there and having this dream that we always see people on TikTok. They have these beautiful apartments. They're always taking us on apartment tours. They are showing us how great these luxury apartments are. Now, when you guys first moved there, was that kind of your goal to move into an apartment and live that life? And
Yeah, it
has that
was.
changed?
Well, we wanted an apartment only because we wanted to be in like the heart of Bangkok. Like we wanted to be in a central location in Bangkok where we could be close to the malls and like be steps away from night markets and food and just be able to walk out and just like be right in the middle of it all. Um,
Mhm.
because we were like, that's the reason why we're moving because, we want to experience this like this life, this like hustle and bustle. And so, yeah, we saw, like you said, all of the luxurious apartments and things like that. But realistically, we were like, we can't live in a high rise because we have two dogs, you know. We didn't want to be going down like thir 30 flights of stairs, or 30 stories just to, come down and walk our dogs. So
Yeah.
that was the thing. We didn't necessarily like need like the nicest apartment either. It didn't have to be the most modern or it didn't have to have all the amenities. Like I said, we just wanted to be in the hustle and bustle. And so we found an apartment on Sukhumvit right in the middle of the hustle and bustle and it was great. It was close to, like the BTS station. It was close to the mall. It was close to the night market was like right at the end of our alley. And so it was great for a few months, but it's really hectic and busy.
Mm.
You know, I think it was fun at first and, just a really like it was a culture shock, but it was like exciting
Okay.
at first. But, once we started like living there for a while and like, we started to realistically think about all the downsides, like the pollution. We would step out,
Mm.
there'd be like traffic right there. I mean, like the pollution was bad, our the air quality was bad in our house, like our you have to have an air purifier in indoors.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're just breathing polluted air. So
Oh.
our air purifier was just working overtime.
Mm.
Um so yeah, the pollution, the crowds, and it just, it just wasn't for us. And then the dogs, we were on the fourth floor, which wasn't so bad, but we still had to take the elevator every single time we wanted to go downstairs, and the dogs couldn't just like go out, and just like run around. So that was another thing. We were like concerned about our dogs' like health and well-being. So
Now,
ultimately,
did you see many families in the building like that you lived in? Were there a lot of families, or was it more just like couples and single people?
there are a lot of families.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of families, and I think in Thailand, because it's just so densely populated, that people are used to living in high rises because you have to
Mm.
just build up. And I think people are just used to it. Like, we came from a house in Georgia where your neighbors were like hundreds of feet away to an apartment, and we were like, maybe
Maybe
not
not
for
so
us long
much.
term. Yeah, not so much.
Not
not
so much.
not long term.
Now, you did tell me too, the apartment process was not easy as far as getting an apartment. You would tell me that you would look at one and then it'd be gone the next day. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, so we felt pressured because when we got here, we were living with my mom and her partner, and there was just not enough room for, all five of us and two dogs. We were feeling
Mhm.
the pressure, like we had to get out. Not that she was, pressuring us to get out, but it was just too small for us, and then we didn't want to feel obligated, like that they had to like, kind of like take care of us until we got on our feet. But yeah, we would, when we started looking, it was just like things would be gone, or like things were already gone when we were like looking online. It would be like available one day, and then the next day, oh, sorry, it got rented. And so we were like, okay, things are going fast. So if we like something, like, we have to like go see it that day. So, that's kind of how that process went. And so when we found this apartment that we stayed in that we liked, we had to jump on it. We were like, okay, there's no time to think. Do we want it? Yes. Okay, let's get it.
Let's get it. And what was the price like for that? It wasn't a cheap apartment either.
No, because we were expecting to, we had a budget in mind. We said, okay, we're a family of three plus two dogs. We're not like a single, all of these videos that are out there. Marcus and I talked about this, that are on YouTube. Like, people are talking about their budget and, oh, it's so cheap to, live in Thailand. I live in an apartment for 15,000 baht, which is, roughly what, like $450. We can't have that budget because we're
Hmm.
a family of three. Like, we need space, and we need space for
Yeah.
our dogs. So, and then we also, needed an extra room for if my mom wanted to come over. Like, who is she gonna, like, she's not gonna come over if she can't have a room either, right?
Yeah.
So we had to look for a three-bedroom, and so the place that we found was 65,000,
Which is how much? In
which
or is that
is
US? Oh,
no, 65,000 baht. So
okay.
it's about 2200 depending on the conversion. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
So that
not
eats up a
not
big chunk of your money each month.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we our budget was, like 45, 50 max. But we
Hmm.
have to increase our budget because we had competition. There, a lot of the places were being snatched up so quick.
And then you also talked about the furniture in the apartment was not the most comfortable, correct?
That's like one thing you don't like think about is like your comfort, and what you need to, get back to the comfort level that you had in the US, if you're moving. Like, we knew we were going to get rid of all of our stuff, but
Mhm.
we didn't think about, like, okay, when we move, we have to kind of start all over. Yeah, they provided furniture, but it's like basic. It's like you had the sofa, right? And then you had like the dining table, and then you had the beds, but the beds were like rock hard. The sofa was rock hard. It was like sitting on cement.
Oh
So
gosh.
we did that for a couple weeks and we were like, we got to get a new couch. Like this is it's like seriously hurting our backs. It's hurting
Mm.
our backs to sleep in this bed. So we had to go out and we had to buy mattress toppers. We had to buy a new couch. We had to beg the property manager to like take the couch out because we couldn't sit on it. You know, you don't have the luxury of a dishwasher. Um, you know, we had to request a dryer. Most Thai people
Mhm.
hang their clothes dry. We were like, we're not doing that.
No, no.
No, no, we're not. We're not hanging our clothes. We need a dryer.
Mm.
Yeah, so little things like that, that, you know, you had to go out and buy. Like we had to go out, you know, they're little things, but the cost adds up, you know. You have to buy
Yeah.
dishes and cups and towels and toiletries and rugs and, you know, they furnish the basics, but you're still spending thousands to like, you know, like for your comfort. And
Yeah, to make it
um
feel like home. But in that apartment, did you guys ever really feel like you settled in and it was home?
I would say no, because we always knew like, okay, we're probably going to end up being in a house.
Mm.
So we kind of didn't stop looking. Um, we we were we were happy to a certain extent. You know, the location was good. We were very like conveniently located to everything that you could possibly need. But we knew that, you know, eventually we wanted to be in a house. And so we never really stopped looking. And when we came across the house that we're in now, we jumped on it.
So tell us about how you landed where you are now in your new house and what was that experience like? Because your house, and by the way, her house is absolutely beautiful. Maybe one day she'll do a TikTok video and let y'all see it, but it's gorgeous. But tell us about that one.
So, like I said, we like never stopped looking. We always knew like, okay, we really need a house. So we found this house, same process. You know, you go on different platforms and you look for, you know, listings, and then those listings are attached to agents. So if you like something, you have to contact that agent. So that's what we did with this house. We said, okay, this house looks, you know, really nice, and it was a little bit bigger, a 4 bedroom versus the 3 that we had. And so we went to go look at it. We contacted the agent. She set up a time, and we came to look at it and walked through and loved it. So we were like, okay, now we have to, you know, make a decision. Like, we're gonna have to break our lease. You know, we weren't really prepared to like something right away. We thought it was gonna be a longer process because
Hmm.
we wanted to explore different areas other than where we were, you know. So when we found this place, it was just like everything like fell into place. It's a 4 bedroom. It's like a Western style house, like open concept, like just like you walked into a home in the US. Like it didn't feel Thai really at all, except for the outside, and
Hmm.
close to the BTS. So we were 5 stations away from Stella's school at the last house. And here we're 5 stations away, but in the other direction.
Hmm.
So we're like, you know, not a big change for Stella. She would still be able to walk to the train and, you know, take it to school just like how she normally is doing now.
Hmm.
So, so after we saw the house, we went home, talked about it, and mind you, you know, things get snatched up really quick. So our decision making had to be like same day.
Wow.
Yeah, so we went home, talked about it, and we went ahead and, you know, gave her the go ahead to like take it off the market because we wanted it that evening. And we
What was
kind of
that
worked.
process like of breaking your lease, though? Did they charge you something, or how does that work in Thai?
Yeah, so you have to be really careful. with signing leases and like just, knowing like if you're going to break a lease, you're not going to get your deposit back. There's no
Okay.
ifs, ands, or buts. Like, that's it. There's no negotiation. Like, we
Mm.
thought we'd be able to, negotiate, like, hey, can we get like half our deposit back or, something. Give us
No.
some, a little, like room to work with. No, nothing.
Hmm.
They were just like, nope, it's black and white. You sign this, you're not getting your deposit. So we were like, okay. And in Thailand, it's a 2 month deposit. It's not one.
Oh, and is it your full month rent? Like the deposit is your month rent
Yeah.
2 times? Oh, wow.
So we
So when you
paid
first got there, it was
3
3 months.
It was 3 months to move in. It's always 3 months to move in. So 2 months deposit and then 1 month for your rent. So
So you
we
missed out on 2 months of your deposit. Wow.
just to
Wow.
and the way we like the way we justified it was this house, and this is why I say it all kind of like fell into place, was this house was like almost half the price of our apartment, but bigger and nicer.
Hmm. And nice. When
So
I tell you it's nice, it's like you open up a magazine and what you would see in a magazine is what this house looks like. It's beautiful.
so we're happy.
Now, how was the process of the moving company? Is not like in the States, right? How did that work for you guys? Like moving furniture. Did y'all take your furniture or did you leave it?
There were things that we had to move, but we didn't have furniture. We had like, mattress toppers, which,
Okay.
are big pieces. We had, like lots of clothes, just boxes and boxes of clothes and some housewares. But we had accumulated a lot actually. We, so the moving process in Thailand is, I would say, easier because there's this company called Lala Move,
Hmm.
and they are like your truck taxis. Like you have taxis that you could just like go out to the street and hail. This is like
Hmm.
that. Like you
Oh,
hail a truck and then like, but it's online. It's like a Grab
like
or
Uber kind of?
yeah,
Okay.
like an Uber for trucks. And
Mm.
so you get on their like platform and you schedule a time, and it could be like within an hour or like 2 days out, like whatever time you need it, and you schedule it and then they're there. So you get, like the different choices if you want like, pickup truck all the way up to like box trucks. And so
Mm.
we just, ordered that, and it came, and you can, request like if you want another helper, kind of like the driver helps and then they bring in another helper and you pay for that. But it's very like low cost. I mean,
Mm.
when I'm telling you, like, would you say like to move in the US, if you like got a U-Haul and like two people for a day, it'd be like a couple thousand,
Yeah,
like
it's a couple of thousand.
at
Easy.
least.
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay. We paid, I think, $30.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What? $30?
Yeah.
For two people to help too. And was it like, did you guys have to move the stuff or they did everything?
They did everything.
Wow. That's wild. That is crazy right there. Like
Yeah.
you would never be
I
able to
mean,
get
of
that
course,
here.
I tipped them and like,
Yeah.
gave them extra. It turned out to be like 60, I think.
But but come on now. You're moving an apartment. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
worth it.
I know. So
That's
it's like
wow.
Lala Move. Just if you need
Lala
anything
move.
moved or transported, like we acquired an e-bike from my cousin, and he was like, "Well, how are you gonna get it to your house?" And I was like, "Lala Move."
And they picked it up from him and dropped it off to you, right?
Yeah, it was like, I don't even know, $12. I don't know, like so cheap.
See, that's the part that makes you like, okay. moving's not so bad because if you have to move, just call Lala Move and they got you. We should do a little commercial for Lala Move. Lala Move. That's nice.
Catchy
So
name too.
yeah, Lala Move. So at what point did you like how much you said you had to get a washing machine and dryer to make it feel the comforts of home. Were those things expensive?
So here, like they typically will provide a washer,
Okay.
because that's like you know something Thai people do now. Before, they would just like hand wash their clothes, but a lot of people now are getting washers, and so that's the more popular appliance here. But like almost no one has a dryer. You see
Mm.
like clothes being hung out on balconies still, like to this day. Um, but here they provided like a washer dryer unit,
Hmm.
but the dryer part of that piece does not work very well. Like,
No.
from being in the
Those
hotel.
things suck. Remember oh my gosh, Gabby and them, literally, we tried
Yeah.
that the night before we were leaving. They had all wet clothes in their suitcase
Yeah.
to bring to the
In their
next
suit.
hotel.
And I was like, we can't leave yet because my clothes are still damp. They're
Still
not
damp.
dry. Yeah.
Like we were
After
literally
after
rolling
two
wet clothes.
hours.
Yes, 2 hours. They were horrible. Don't recommend.
Yeah. So we knew, we were like, we have to get a dryer. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, we went to go shop for one, and um, those are the kind of things you learn to as you hear, like, you go shopping for the things you need, and you're like, researching all the costs, and it's really like very, very comparable to the US. If not, like, I think a little bit cheaper. So we actually got our dryer for um I want to say like $400. It wasn't so bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you
And
said it's actually better than the
it's
US
pretty
dryers.
elegant. Yeah, so it doesn't use like a hose to like filter the hot air out. It uses a water system. And so it's like it heats up water, and so it kind of like steams dry your clothes. So your clothes come out like nice and like fresh and smells fresh, and it like what do you call it? It feels like you like newly steamed it. So it's
Mm.
it's a pretty, I think it's a European technology actually.
Okay.
And so yeah, like I said, I think it was like 450. It wasn't over $500.
That's beautiful. Now, let's get into health and wellness. And we had recently talked about before this before we start our little chat is that you live in this la la land when you get there of eating out every day, eating in the markets. And we did that on vacation, absolutely loved it. And you see all these videos about people talking about how cheap the food is and how you can go to a night market. And we even talked about that. Is that reality? And is that life? And is that sustainable?
Yeah, so it is really easy to get into the like, oh, I'm gonna eat out all the time because it's so cheap, and I'm gonna eat everything because it's so abundant and so accessible, and um it's really not sustainable. It's the excitement at first. There's no night markets in the US. Like, you can't just go somewhere and have like 20 different choices of foods and then like 100 places to get dessert. Like, it's that's just not there in the US. You
Hmm.
have to you go to one place and that's what you get. So it's like overwhelming and exciting, and you're just like a kid in a candy store like all the time. You just like want everything. Oh, this is only 20 baht, I'm gonna get that, and this is only 50 baht, I'm gonna, and like everything's like a dollar or less.
Yeah.
The novelty of it is exciting at first, but then you have to think about like, okay, if you're just like you know like buying stuff like crazy, it adds up. And then you look at
Mm.
your budget for the day, and you're like, oh, I went over budget because I got too much. And then you're like wasting it too, because you're like, I want to try everything, but then you don't eat it all because you can't.
Hmm.
So you end up throwing it away and then wasting that money. So it's like it adds up and it's wasteful. So that, and then you start to think about health wise, like it's not really healthy to eat out here all the time. A lot of the street food, even though it's like really good and a lot of the vendors they do put care into what they're making, but because it's still fast food, it's greasy. It's still
Mm.
really greasy. So it's like that kind of stuff like I never really thought about. Like you don't really think about as a tourist because you're like here for 2 weeks and you're like, I'm gonna have that pad thai. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have that fried rice. I'm gonna have that, you know, crepe. Whatever it is, it's like you don't think about the grease because you're gonna go back home and you're not gonna have it
Hmm.
again, you know. But here I started to like really like watch like what the vendors are, how they're cooking the food. And I'm like, oh my Lord, like I'm really eating a lot of grease. And
Mm.
so, you think about that after a while and you're like, you can't do that every day, so
Mm.
yeah.
Oh, that's so sad because it was so good. But you're right. Like, what was your budget every day that you guys were spending when you would? Because I know you would tell me you would go to MBK Mall, y'all would get the card and put money on the card and just go out to eat. So, what was your budget before that you tried to stick to?
So we didn't really do like a daily budget because, you know, it was hard. It's hard for Marcus and I to kind of track that too because like we intermittent fast, so we don't eat breakfast.
Okay.
So
And this was
we
before.
before, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we still like intermittent fast, but now we cook. So, it's a little bit more manageable now, like our budget, because we're doing a lot of grocery shopping. But before it was like you said, we would, get a um food court card and or, if you're living here long enough, you end up getting if you have a bank account, you get the scan, which everywhere you go, you just scan. Like so, if it's 20 baht, you scan. If it's 200 baht, you scan. Like if it's 5 baht, you scan. So you could be scanning all day and then like not really thinking about it because you're like it's 20 baht here and there, but then at the end of the day, you're like I just spent like $50. Like you
Wow.
know? Yeah, because it
Yeah.
can get out of hand. But but yeah, our monthly budget for food, I think was in like the like low thousand range for a family of three, for our family of three. So like between I would say like 12 to $1,500
And that's
um
still a lot for
a
Thailand.
month. Yeah, yeah. It's still a lot because considering how cheap the food is.
Yeah.
Um, but you also don't want to eat street food every day,
Hmm.
So, every, 2, 3 days, we'd be like, let's go to a restaurant. And of course,
Mm.
restaurants are, a little bit more expensive. They're still cheaper, but, they're a lot more expensive than street food.
And then you also told me that you have to watch out for the smoothies because yes, they taste good, but they're full of sugar too, right?
Yeah. So you think, you're getting like, let's say a coconut smoothie, right? You're like, oh, it's coconut and water,
Hmm.
or ice or whatever. No, they add syrup in there too. So it's like, whatever, like a sugary syrup of
Hmm.
whatever kind. And so it's not really what you think. Like you have what you learn to do is like you learn to like watch what they're putting in there and then you can like alter it. Like you can tell them,
Okay.
okay, no syrup or please
Mm.
don't put sugar and they'll like customize it how you want it. But their regular recipe is always going to have added sugar. So
Hmm.
so we've learned that like if we get a smoothie, we'll be like please no sugar at all. Just the
Hmm.
sugar from the fruit is enough.
Yeah, because the fruit is really good there by
Yeah.
itself.
It's sweet
All right.
already.
That's good. So you guys move into your house and decide we got to change our lifestyle a little bit. What did you decide to do to change your lifestyle?
Cook more. So that was,
So
the
sad.
biggest change. Yeah. Because, we're not like stepping out and going to Terminal 21 right across the street anymore. Terminal
Hmm.
21, as everybody knows, has like the cheapest food court. You can get food for like, between 50 to 60 baht per meal,
Hmm.
which is about $2 on average. Um, so we weren't doing that anymore. We couldn't just step out and just like, get cheap food. So we had to figure out, okay, like which grocery stores are nearby, which ones do we go to, and where do we shop at? And I mean, Thailand surprisingly has a lot of great grocery stores. Like they have a macro here. It's called macro, and
Hmm.
it's like the equivalent of Costco.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so you go in there and you step in there and it's like you're in a Costco. Like
Oh,
like you're in a Costco like at Kennesaw. Like so
nice.
different. Yeah.
Okay, so everything's in bulk. Like you could buy it in bulk.
Yeah. So it's like it's
Oh.
bulk. Everything is, you don't just get one thing. It's like a pack of three or more type
Hmm.
of thing. Yeah.
Now, what about prices? Does the prices compare to Costco or is it cheaper?
So they have different things. So it's gonna be a lot cheaper, I would say,
Okay.
than Costco. For example, Stella wanted to get some chips, like some Thai Lays, like they have like Lay's potato chips. And they're like, those little snack size packs.
Mhm.
I think like a pack of a dozen was like 49 baht, which is like $1.50.
Oh, that's good.
I
That's
know.
really good.
Like Cheetos, same thing. Like they have Cheetos here, 49 baht. I'm like,
Oh,
really?
I could do this.
Yeah, cookies, like a pack of cookies that she wanted that were like, like how Oreos have like the cream in the middle. This was like a strawberry jam. It was like 59 baht or something. Like just really cheap. I'm
Oh, that's good.
like yeah, I was like surprised.
So, but where you're at now, do you have to have a car or you can still get around? You said there's a BTS nearby, but to go to those places like what would be Costco, you kind of need a car,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you have to have
Okay.
a car. Yeah.
Mm. How's driving there for you? How do you like driving?
So at first it was very stressful. It's very hectic, as you know. Traffic here is really, really bad. And not only that, you have a million motorbikes that are like, whizzing past you and just
Yeah.
like not caring if you're like trying to change lanes. So you have to watch out for them. Like you're using like all three of your mirrors and you're turning back like
Oh
constantly.
gosh.
You have to watch out for them because they like feel like they have the right of way. They're just going. You can't just you can't just change lanes without signaling because you're gonna
Right.
like hit one.
Oh,
So yeah. And then you got on top of that, you've got you've got people, motorbikes and cars stopping at all BTS stops to drop people off, taxis dropping people off. So it's like you can't just drive and think like, oh, you're just gonna go. No, you're like stopping and going all the time because like people are stopping to drop people off, like, right there in the middle of the road. Like you're just watching for a million pedestrians just like crossing the street without a crosswalk, just like, yeah, I'm gonna, just try to cross this street right now in the middle of like crazy rush hour traffic.
yeah, like let's see if we can make it across. No,
Yeah,
let's not.
yeah, yeah. So you're watching out for like a million different things. So, and then getting used to driving on the left side of the road, instead of the right side, and having the steering wheel on the right side of the car. Like, it's just, I was like so confused at first.
Oh, I'd be sitting there like white knuckles, just terrified. I don't think I could do it. Does
Yeah.
Marcos drive as well, or just you?
Yeah, we both drive. So I
Ooh.
drive a lot because I'm driving Stella to school now, like
Oh, you
two
are.
times. Well, just like a couple times a week because to give her a break from the BTS because apparently that's super busy too. So
Oh, gotcha.
she does a combination.
Okay.
Not a car. So so yeah, like driving. But I will say, once you get used to driving in Thailand, I think it's better and safer. Like ironically, yes,
Really?
yeah,
How many accidents
because
do they have?
I've seen none, zero.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like not one, not even a fender bender, like nothing.
That's
Yeah.
good. Was insurance hard to get? Was that easy? What was the process for you getting insurance and
So insurance, I don't know the process because
okay.
I bought this car secondhand from a
Mm-hmm.
family member,
Mm-hmm.
and so he took care of all the transitioning the insurance. So really all I did was call the insurance company and like give them my name, and then they like transferred everything over. Um, the registration, we had to go to the registration office for where he bought the car or where he was living where he when he bought the car. So that
Mm-hmm.
was the only, but very easy.
So you don't pay monthly insurance? Like you know how here we pay monthly insurance for our cars, you don't pay that there?
It's annual.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, what if you do get in an accident? Like, what happens? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's paid for the year. So it's all paid
Oh,
up front.
that's nice. And how does it compare to the US?
I think, well, it's a lot cheaper because, like, from what I understand, I think it was only like 3 or 350 for the year
Oh,
dollars. Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
And
Yeah.
at what age do kids start driving there?
That's a good question because I
Oh,
think I've seen like 12-year-olds on motorbikes here.
Lord
I'm no
mercy.
joke. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's scary.
That's the crazy thing here is like the cops that are like directing traffic and they see this. I mean, obviously we all do. They're just outnumbered. Like they have no power to like say, like, what are they going to pull over like one person when there's like a million drivers on the road, you know? Like I've seen
Oh my
kids in
gosh.
school uniforms drive their little like scooters on the road.
That's
So,
that's scary. Especially me sitting there like, please don't let me hit you. Please don't let me hit you. Please don't let me hit you. Because
yeah.
I don't think I could do it. But I mean, you said once you figure out how to drive, it's not that bad. So,
Okay, here's why I'll say that I think it's safer because you know how like for example in Georgia there's like highways or roads where it's like two directions, right? But there's no
hmm
like center divider. There's
yeah.
no like like no wall or anything in between. So
hmm
my fear was always like what if someone veers over and you like get in a head on collision, you know, like that
hmm
was always my fear going out, right? I don't know if you think about that.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
That's where like I see the danger in driving here. Like you don't have that danger because there's always, well, especially like, you know, in the city where there's like the BTS line that's like gonna go in the middle, like throughout like every street, there's the BTS train. So the left is the left and the right is the right. There's no
hmm
mix. And if you're gonna make like a right turn, which is like our left turn, you're like you have like this huge like space to go in and then make that turn. So there's so much traffic that like people aren't driving super fast, so
Okay.
there's enough time to stop, you know, like
Mm.
and correct, right? So yeah, it's just you get used to it and then when you really think about it, you're like it's easier, you know.
Mm. Okay.
you're never going to be in a head-on collision with anybody.
Which
The
is good.
worst,
Somebody might just hit you from the back
yeah, the worst case
if they're not
scenario
paying
is
attention.
like, yes, getting rear-ended or like hitting a motorcyclist. That would be like your worst nightmare. But
Hmm.
uh, if you just like keep going in your lane, just stay in your lane, and you're not like switching all the time, you're fine because they'll like
Okay.
figure it out.
They feel like, "Hey, you got to go this way. Move over."
Yeah.
Wow. Now, my biggest fear and our biggest concern for the LaPointe family is the weather. And I know a lot of people go to Thailand and they don't go during the seasons with the rainy, the smoky, and all that in between. Can you really break down, since you've been there, it's coming up into almost in a year, so a little bit less than a year. Tell us about the weather. What is it really like from you being there?
Overall, the weather is hot and humid, and there is, um the like fear of the smoky season, right?
Okay.
Starting in, I think it's like February. And also the monsoon season, which starts around like May through
Hmm.
like September, October. So, so we kind of came during monsoon season, in October, and we experienced like a couple weeks of like, daily rain. And Thailand's like sewage system isn't the best. So if
Okay.
it downpours, you're gonna have floods in certain areas. So you're gonna be driving through floods, or if you're walking, you may be walking through a flood. But the good news is it doesn't rain all day long. So that
Okay.
like burst of rain that's causing that flood, it's only temporary for the day, So rains here don't last like all day. It's like spurts. And then, you just manage through the flood and then you're fine for a couple hours. Um, so that's the rainy season. And then we've never been to Thailand during the smoky season, which is
Hmm.
like February, I think for a few months. I'm not sure till what month, but it's now May and the smoky season already started. Um, and we in Bangkok here, like, we don't really like it doesn't really affect us that much. I think the
Hmm.
only thing is there are some days that are worse than others as far as like pollution, but
Okay.
there's like alerts that like the media will give you, like, hey, today is going to be really bad, like wear your mask or try to stay indoors. Or there's an app also that we have that tells you like the amount of pollution in the air. And so based on that, it's like, we go out and we'll wear a mask, or we don't go out that day, or yeah, or we uh turn our air purifier on all day, and that really helps because you're seeing on the air purifier too, like, is it working overtime to like clean the air? And we've never really seen it like work to its max. Like, it hasn't really affected us, to be honest. I think if
Now,
you're north
okay.
in Chiang Mai, it's worse because that's where the smoke starts, but
Hmm.
it doesn't really come all the way down to Bangkok.
But I know when you said you first moved there, you had like almost like a COVID kind of that cough, and was that because you were in the city center with the pollution and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and it got better?
it was definitely in the city center. So I think
Okay.
now that I think about it, I think it's a combination of the traffic, and the cooking, like,
Mm.
all the vendors like grilling and barbecuing, like all the smoke from the cooking too. So,
Mm.
um, sometimes you're walking down an alley or like through a night market, and you're literally like inhaling the fumes from like the charcoal and stuff like that. Like, yeah. So I think that's those two things were like, kind of factors in. and like just, how I felt like. And I think everybody says this to you, like you get used to it. But at first, yeah, you do kind of feel like that raspiness and like like have to clear your throat, like that type of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but now that we're here, like away from like all of that like crazy traffic, I haven't really felt that, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
haven't really, I feel like I'm breathing cleaner air out here, versus, where we were in the like center of everything.
Now, I want to tell people because you make it sound like y'all are in the country. You're not in the country. It's just because the way you're like, it's so far out.
Yeah,
Their house is
we're
next
like,
to you.
yeah, it's funny because when you first come in our alley, there are cows like in yeah, there are cows
Nancy,
in
we're
the
in the
city.
country. Y'all in the country.
No, that's what we thought too, but literally like we're not. Like we can still like go out and, like there's still night markets, there's still malls like close by. But yeah, it's funny when you come first in our alley, you'll see like two cows just kind of roaming, like behind a fence. We're like, okay.
Let's go.
Um, yeah. They're kind of cute actually. Um, but but we're like on the border of it's called Samut Bakan is where we are, on the border of that city in Bangkok. So
Okay.
it's like still Bangkok, but we're like on the border of another city.
Okay. And so, but again, because the train is 5 steps away, could we get by living there without a car? Or we would definitely need a car.
You can, because
Okay.
when we didn't have a car, when we were in the city, in like the city, in the middle of the city of everything, we took like we were looking at our budget from when we didn't have a car to now that we have a car, and taking public transportation is cheaper than owning a car. Like even if you
Hmm.
don't have a car payment, like because we don't have a car payment,
Mm-hmm.
but taking the taxi and taking the train is cheaper than getting gas.
Oh, wow. How much is gas
It's
to fill up? How
so
much does it cost you?
yeah, like so I can tell you like to fill up, it costs $60
Oh, wow. So it's like the States. Yeah.
to fill up our little car. But I don't know if it's because we have a diesel car. I don't
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
maybe. But
Yeah.
but yeah, we fill up every 2 weeks, sometimes like
Oh,
one
that's
and a
not
half
bad.
to two
Oh,
weeks.
girl, please stop. Stop. Stop it. Did you just say every 2 weeks? Girl, I'm filling up twice a week over here. Please.
Yeah, but I mean when we did the budget, taking the train was cheaper. It was cheaper.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. And the trains are so nice there. I wouldn't mind taking them anyway because they're so clean.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and air conditioned and clean.
Now, with the air quality and stuff like that, do you feel like being out that way that a person with asthma would be able to be okay?
I think it would definitely probably you would probably feel the effects of it a little bit
Mm.
more. So in that case, I definitely think like wearing a mask, you could, benefit from that. Like
Hmm.
and you're not going to be like out walking all day outside all the time,
Okay.
So wear that mask like, you know, those times that you are outside, and I think you'll be
Hmm.
fine. Because I mean, most of the time, I mean, like as a tourist, yeah, you're gonna be out all day walking, exploring, and going from place to place. But as a resident, like you're not gonna be doing that. You're gonna be like trying to get from one place to the next, and it's gonna take you like a few minutes. You're not gonna be out all day. So I think wearing that mask is gonna help. And then once you get indoors, like you're totally fine.
Wow. So you're not all day because it's hot as well? Like, because you said it's hot there. So is it because it's really hot that you're indoors most of the time?
Yeah, that I think that's a factor. I mean, you're not gonna want to be out all day because it is hot, and um that's why they have night markets here, in Thailand, because, you know, who wants to be like working from like 9 to 5 out here in the heat? Like they're gonna
Mm,
start their day at 5 in the evening and work till midnight. It's a lot
gotcha.
cooler. And the temperature really is a huge difference from day to night. Like
Mm,
it's manageable at night. In the daytime, you go outside and a few minutes later, you're like sweating bullets. Like it's very humid. It's very,
mm.
very humid. Um, but I would say, yeah, I mean, like as a resident, you're not walking outside all day, every day. You're gonna
Okay.
like, walk to the BTS, which, if you're close to a BTS, maybe like a 10 to 15-minute walk. You
Uh-huh.
hop on the BTS. The BTS is like freezing cold. It's probably like, you know, 50 degrees in there Fahrenheit. And
Yeah.
you have a nice ride, and then you hop off, and then you go to wherever you're going, your destination, and you're inside again. So you're really not going to be affected by the pollution all day, every day. And if
Mm.
you're in your house, like you're going to have your AC on, you're going to have your air purifier on. Like right now, my air purifier is on 3, which is
Yeah.
like almost perfect air quality.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Like
Nice.
when it gets up
Okay.
to, like it says 1 to 30, I think is good air quality. 30 to 50 is bad. And then 50 and up is like really bad. Like I haven't seen my air quality or air purifier on higher than like 11 over here.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
was that in the apartment too, or was that just over here where you're at now?
In the apartment, it was worse because, okay, so in the city, this is what I learned too in the city is there's a lot of construction going on. They're
Mm.
constantly like, tearing down buildings, rebuilding, in that spot. And so there are so many like spots and like, like alleyways and streets where like there's construction going on. So like right in our alley, a Hilton was being built. And so there was like construction like pollution in our
Mm.
alley, and that was coming into our window. I mean, like we could
Oh.
see like gray dust on our floor after a day of
Oh,
having
wow.
windows. Yeah.
Mm.
So
I'm
that's
surprised you
another
had the
thing.
windows open.
Yeah, we had it open for the dogs so that they could at least like go out on the balcony, when they wanted
Oh,
to.
okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, that's another thing we didn't think about was that there's that that was another thing I missed, the construction pollution on top of the cooking pollution and then the traffic pollution.
So everything you see online is not, they don't show that part. Like, videos of, they just don't tell you that. That's why I'm so grateful that you're telling people the real deal. Like, hey, you have to think about all these things before you just jump on a plane and say, this is where you're going to move, and think about the area that you're going to move to, because it's not everything you see online is the truth.
Yeah. And then a lot of, if you have pets, like especially dogs, because you have to walk dogs, like in the city, it's not pet friendly. Like
Mm.
it's all concrete. Like there's no lawns. Like unless you're in an apartment complex that has a dedicated like little, lawn
Green
area
space.
or park or
Yeah.
something. Like you can't go outside your building and like walk your dogs because there's no grass. It's all concrete. So that's what we were walking our dog. Like we didn't think about that. We're like, okay, like they're going from a house with our big backyard where they could roam free and have grass everywhere to now
Hmm.
we have to walk them on concrete and they have to go on concrete.
How long did that take them to get used to that?
I don't think they ever got used to it. They
No.
just
They're
like,
like, where's the
had no
grass?
choice. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So,
poor
and then a
babies.
lot of the like Thailand's trying to get pet friendly, but they're not quite there yet. Like there's parks, that have dedicated like dog parks. There's malls that have dog parks. There's like different dog parks everywhere, but they're all like you have to have your dog leashed.
Oh, okay. So
Like
they can't run free. Oh,
yeah, they can't, like you always have to have them leashed like everywhere. So we're like, well, there's no point in like going because then we're like still walking our dog, you know?
yeah. Now, where you live now, do you have an area that they can go, like a backyard space, or how does, I know you have that front yard area, but do you have backyard green space?
Yeah, so like our neighborhood has a little park.
Oh,
So
okay.
we just walk them there and they can walk around the park and there's like, another like side street that they like to, walk up and down on. So not a ton of lawn space still, but like there is that little dedicated park that we have in the
Okay.
neighborhood. Yeah.
So in the front area of your house, do they get to go out and play though in that little
They
like
do. So
area?
like we'll,
Okay.
our door, kind of swings open and shut. And so they just like kind of go out, on their own and just, have some activities. So like if they hear noise, they'll like go out and like, go
Okay.
see what it is and like they're it's a lot more freedom for them
Oh,
here,
that's
whereas in
good.
the apartment we were restricted.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Now the bugs. Tell me about the bugs. And do you have those critters? I know Marcos told me he was like, if you are not prepared, like there's this and that. And I was like, wait, what? So tell us about
Okay.
that.
So I will say, um, you got to be prepared because, okay, especially in the city, it's not for the faint of heart. You're going to be outside your apartment complex and you're going to see rats and you're going to see cockroaches.
Not like little baby ones though, right?
No, they're huge, huge cockroaches
Mm.
and rats. Just, you could open your, community trash bin and a rat would be coming out of it.
Oh, okay. Say it louder for those people in the back who are like, oh, seriously? And
Yeah.
how big are the rats?
They're big enough to, scare you.
Oh my gosh. Why do they have so many rats? Is it because of all the street food and stuff?
I think so. I think it's just like the street food and just the amount of people and just trash and yeah.
The
Now,
crazy part is when we were there, I never saw them.
I know it like they're like scurrying around in like the little tight alleyways, but yeah, it's crazy. Like I don't know what I was expecting, but it didn't really surprise me, but it is kind of shocking. It is kind of shocking.
Mm,
So it's not for the faint of heart. That's another thing about apartment living. We don't see rats here. Um,
okay.
yeah, I haven't seen a rat here in this neighborhood. So I
Okay.
think it's just like the tight, you know,
A lot of
dense
people, trash, and
areas.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, wait. So did you see? I'm on the roaches too. Did you see them like in the apartments or did they mostly outside? Like, tell us the truth, please.
Yeah, you have to be careful because there are roaches in the apartment too. There are.
Shut up. Like baby
Yeah.
cockroaches, like for real, real deal roaches, like that.
Families of cockroaches. Yeah, we how how ever much you clean, it'll still be there. They're just
Shut
there.
Are you
Yeah.
serious? Like, what happened? Because you're coming from a house that had no roaches. So, how did that, when you, like, walk me through? Did you wake up and you saw like the little baby roaches crawling? Like, what was that? I'm
They're in the
invested.
kitchen. They're mainly in the kitchen. I never saw any like, out in the like living room or like bedroom or any. They're just like in the kitchen. So I guess like I don't know, like maybe I don't know if they're coming up from some pipes or like
Oh,
other
wow.
apartments or whatever, but like I'm like, what? no matter how many times pest control came out, it's like they'd kill them and then like more would come back. I'm like, but that's
Oh,
why, okay, but okay, I don't want to scare everyone. Like the
but
kitchen,
tell them the
usually,
truth because
well, but usually like a kitchen in a Thai house and even apartments, they're separated from like the living room and other areas of the house because that's, Thai cooking is very like, aromatic and like it's just, lots of like garlic and spices and, stuff like that. So I could see why it would like attract critters. So typically the kitchen is like, away from the rest of the house or like even on the outside of the house. So like in our apartment, our kitchen, um, I mean, of course, it had to be in our apartment, but it had like a door, like you could close the door,
hmm
it'd be like a whole separate room, from the rest of the house. So they weren't coming out of the kitchen, but it was just very, annoying.
yeah,
So no matter how much you cleaned, they were there.
they were there. Oh gosh,
They were
that's
there.
crazy. That's scary though because you think, are they going to get in my clothes? Am I going to bring them out with me? All those
Yeah.
things. Am I going to take them to my new house?
That was my fear, but no,
Yeah.
they didn't come. Yeah, they
Oh,
didn't come with
good.
us. Thank God.
Did you ever see them
I
in your
haven't,
room?
no, never. Yeah, not in the room. No. Yeah, I think they just kind of like roamed around where there was food or like trash. So,
Okay, so for people, if you don't think you could live in New York City, Bangkok and the city living might not be for you because if the rats and things scare you, like for me, I would have to move where you guys are and be like, hey neighbor, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But
well,
that's the thing that people don't tell you.
yeah, but I will say, as like as crazy as Bangkok is and like how, busy it is and how many people and I mean it's an old like, it's an old country like it's been around for hundreds of years longer than, like the US
Hmm
and you can't expect like none of that,
Yeah.
and you can't and yes, like I think Thailand does a good job of like for the most part keeping everything clean. But yeah, there's gonna be some of that activity
Mm.
that you'll see. You could be walking and you see lizards or you see geckos and you see, like rats here and there, outside. So you gotta expect it.
Yeah. But it's just so funny. When we were there, I promise you, I didn't see any rats. I saw like those big lizards when we went to the beach. I don't know what they were
Right,
called,
right.
but
Yeah.
no, nothing else. But you know what? It's like I said, I think I compare it to New York City because it's so many people, so many vendors, so much stuff going on. You're gonna see
Yep.
those kind of things. So you just kind of have to be prepared for it. It's just like anywhere though. Downtown Atlanta, you're gonna have that too. So
Yeah. Yeah,
there's no
exactly.
perfect place. But I do think that people don't tell people those things like, hey, you might see this. So when they get there, they're thrown off like, what is this? Um, all right, let's get into real quick. How has it been for you guys making friends and making connections with people? I know Stella is living her absolute best life, going out, going to, food courts, going to the mall, hanging out with her friends, and just doing everything life. But for you and Marcos, like, what does daily life look like for you guys after she goes to school?
So it's funny that you say making friends because we haven't
Mm-hmm.
made
Yeah,
friends from here.
I'm
Yeah.
glad because you should miss me. No.
I know. I'm waiting for you.
I know.
You're gonna be my boyfriend, and
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna monopolize on you. You can't have
Yes, and we're
kids.
gonna go everywhere together, go to the beach, go get our massages, and then Marco's gonna
Yes,
train us like drill sergeants at the gym.
yes, yes. You're gonna go with me to the gym, die at the gym with me, and
Yes.
then we're gonna and then we're gonna eat.
Yes, and then he's gonna be like, "Did you die yet?" And we're like, "No."
Yeah.
Okay, go harder.
We didn't really make an effort to make friends.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's like meetups you could do. There's groups you could join. You could like go to the park and like, you know, like join a Zumba class at the park,
Hmm.
like just hop into a Zumba class or something. Yeah, but like, I really didn't need to, I wasn't missing like that aspect in my life because I have my mom here,
Okay.
you know. So, I guess, you know, realistically, if you don't have family here, you're going to want that, interaction. But I really didn't miss it. So I
Okay.
didn't make an effort to. And then plus I'm waiting for you. So hurry up and
I
get here.
know. I don't want you to have any other friends. I'm just saying.
I don't have any other friends. I want you to
I need you to
dine
just
with
want
me at
me.
the gym, and then we're going to go pig out at the mall. So,
Yes, and then go get our massages and live our
yeah,
best
yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly. I
Because
mean, that's going to be our day. Just,
yes,
mall, gym, massage, repeat.
gosh,
Just
yes. Repeat,
every
keep
day.
it moving. We're gonna get t-shirts made, and that's gonna be it. And we don't need anybody else. No, because it's you think though, coming from having Stella in school and stuff like that, though, you would make those connections with other parents, but no.
Okay, so you know how like in the US, like how we were talking about, you have to drive your kids everywhere. And if you're going to their friend's house, you drive them to their friend's house and drive them to jujitsu or whatever activity, right? And you just like, naturally just meet the moms, because
Yeah.
you want to know who your friends are hanging out with. Here, like for example, today she just had two of her friends over. And
Okay.
they rode the BTS all together from school and then hung out here, never once heard from their parents, never once like, no text or anything from their moms or their moms like never asked their kids like, "Hey, like can I get Stella's mom's number?" Nothing like that. There's like no communication about and that's like so like foreign to me because it's like that's the first thing you do
Yeah.
when you like take your kid somewhere is you want
Yeah.
the parent's number. So there's none of that here. So I don't know who her friends' moms are,
Just
like
know
at
the kids.
all. I just know the kids.
Wow.
And so they came here, they hung out, for 2, 3 hours, just, having fun. And then they're like, "Mom, we're ready. Like, can you take my friends back to the BTS station?" And so, like I drove them back out to the BTS station and dropped them off and they went up the escalator on their own and I was like, "Bye."
Make it
And
home
that was it.
safe.
Like no,
Wow.
like, like when is my kid coming home or like are they okay or
So no helicopter parents there, really.
none. And they're
Okay.
12 and 13. Like and
Wow.
this is what they do I think from the age of like probably really young, like 7.
Mm.
Because we'll see, Marcos and I will see like kids like around 6 or 7 kind of hanging out with their friends at the mall.
Wow. Are you serious? Wait, 6 and 7 by themselves?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Like
I think
what?
it's just like, just the culture here. Just, they just all go out and hang out without their parents. Like,
Six and
it's
seven. Go. Just go. Get a latte.
So yeah, and I told Stella, I'm like, can you like text your friends and make sure they got home okay? Like at
Yeah.
least, I would feel because they're coming from my house, like feel
Yeah.
responsible if like something, even though I'm not driving them home, or anything, or like I don't know. It's just a weird.
That is so crazy. That's crazy. So what are her friends? Are they all Thai or are they a mixture of like
Yeah, because they all go to international school. They're all like like kind of, mixed.
Okay.
So I think what are Yuka and Mio? Are they half Japanese?
That can you
Yeah, they're half Japanese, half Thai, both of them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see like a melting pot of people at the school though, or is it just more Thai?
Yeah, it's very diverse at the school.
Okay. That's cool. That's good to know. So, because like you don't really see that when you're there. I mean, you see more Thai people and then just like tourists coming and going, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was a
Yeah.
mixture.
Yeah, there's a lot of diversity. I mean, like we live near like I could think of like three international schools, like really good international schools over here. And
Okay.
if you're like near an international school, like right around, like the start of school or like when school's letting out, like you'll see a lot of kids, and I see a lot of like Caucasian kids too.
Oh,
Like
okay. Oh,
maybe
wow.
they're, like British or American or, but I do see a lot of like blonde hair,
Mhm.
like, you know, Caucasian
Yeah.
foreigners. And it's like, oh,
Okay.
so yeah, we'll see a lot more like foreigners, I guess, around
Okay.
international schools.
So you know that they're, oh, wow. So, okay. Stella goes to school. You guys go. You never tell me what your day looks like though for you and Marcos.
Oh my God. So right now, as you know, we are on this strict, like diet workout schedule.
Hmm.
So that's how we're choosing to like spend our days right now.
Okay.
After, one of us drops her off at school or the station, we come back home, maybe have a cup of coffee, and then we get ready for the gym.
Hmm.
And then we go to the gym for 2, 3 hours. And then when we get back home, now that we're cooking, we, start our cooking process. And we'll cook like lunch and dinner for the
Okay.
day. So it's kind of, a longer process. But that's our typical day. And then we pick up Stella. And then she comes home and then we have dinner. And so sometimes, we'll eat at home or sometimes we'll go out to eat just to kind of break up, the monotony. So so we kind of all decide that.
Okay.
But if we weren't going to the gym, we would be like exploring more of Thailand. Like we'd
Hmm.
be, oh, we haven't seen this area of Bangkok. Maybe we'll take the BTS and go there. Or, oh, we heard this area was, good for, let's say, like cafe hopping. We'll go explore there. Or this, area has a nice, like, marine, like recreation center or it's just we'll find a place to go and we'll explore.
Okay.
And
So there's stuff to do.
yeah, so there's stuff to do, and Marcos and I have been thinking a lot about, like what you guys do. You and Jason have, your social media and your podcast.
Yes. Girl, I've been telling you that forever. Get your life together. We've been telling her. I've been telling her, get her life together. Everybody wants to see what you're doing. Like, come on. It'd be so good. Start with your apartment or your house. Show them there that because that's fabulous,
Yeah,
But yeah.
so we have to think about content,
Yeah. Now, do you see a lot of people walking around with their cameras doing content all the time?
Okay, so here's the funny thing. We don't see a ton of people like out with their cameras, but
Okay.
if you go on like YouTube and you like just type in, like Thailand, and there's like, the usual like content creators for Thailand, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 8 to 10 of them, like channels that are like all Thailand.
Uh-huh.
We've seen them all. We've seen them
Really?
all. We've seen all of them just randomly walking. Like we've
Wow.
seen,
Are you serious?
oh, there's Trouble with Chris. Oh, there's KS1. Oh, there's Trophy. Like, we've seen them all. It's
Oh,
so
wow.
funny. We're like, is this just a coincidence or are they like always out? Like, I
Uh-huh.
don't understand.
I guess 'cause they're always getting content and they always have to be on. Are they
Yeah.
friendly or have they been
We
kind of
don't
standoffish?
we don't approach
Oh,
them
you
or
don't.
anything. Yeah,
But
we
you did
just like
talk to one couple.
we did we went out with a Korean couple that
Okay.
moved here like for 3 years ago, that moved to Thailand, and they've been here, and but they're on the DT visa, which for that visa, it's a 5 year long-term visa, but they have to travel outside of Thailand, I think like every 6 months. I think that's what that visa is. Um,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, so they've been here, and like we reached out to them and initiated like a meetup with them, just to, like talk about their experience and stuff here. So that wasn't coincidental, but everyone else like we'll just like randomly see on the, street or like at a cafe or something or at a mall. We're like, hey, that's so and so. Like we've
Oh,
seen.
that's so cool.
It's so
That is
funny.
so crazy. That is awesome. I love that for you guys. Like, oh, I mean, but it's crazy though because you think about how big Thailand is that you wouldn't bump into them like that, but then you see them all the time.
Exactly. I know. Exactly what I was thinking. Like, how coincidental. Like, this is just crazy.
Yeah. All right. Lastly, let's talk about really quick what your reality was like, what you envisioned when you got there, what it was going to be like from what you really got, Because in our minds we all have this big dream of traveling and going from this beach to that beach and eating out and doing all these things. And then when it came down to it, you're like, no, life is just normal for us now.
Yeah, I think it's really hard, I would say, when you're retiring, especially like at our age, because we're like not even 50 yet, you know?
Yeah.
So we thought that it was all gonna be like sunshine and rainbows. Like, oh, we don't have to work. We can, go and do whatever we want. We can, do this one day, temple hop, mall hop, well, like whatever, like we didn't have a schedule. We didn't, and that was like the blessing, but also like the downside, because if you don't have a schedule, like we created a schedule now where we, like take Stella to school and go to the gym and then cook. And, if you don't have anything to do, you're going to be bored out of your mind.
Mm.
Like, that's what I'll say, that's a real struggle. And I know that sounds almost like superficial,
Hmm.
but like, it's not 100% like happiness, or
Okay.
it's not 100% like blessing to not work and not have a schedule,
Hmm.
because we felt like, what is our purpose?
Mm.
You wake
Yeah.
up every day and you don't have a purpose. You're not, you know like, although I'm thankful that I don't have another like teams meeting for work, or I have to put out a fire at a corporate job, or I'm fighting with, executives at my company. Like, even though I don't have that, but I'm waking up and I don't have anything,
Yeah.
like I have
Hmm.
nothing to do.
Hmm.
And so for me, it didn't bother me as much because I had my mom. And so
Yeah.
like I would, I had that companionship, at least, like I had her to talk to. But for like someone like Marcos, who doesn't speak the language and doesn't feel confident to go out by himself and like explore because he doesn't speak the language,
Hmm.
and um doesn't have family here, it was really hard for him.
Yeah.
It was hard. I mean, even though he appreciated, like, not working and we didn't, have to go out and find a job and we didn't have to struggle, he really felt like he was slowly wasting away because he didn't have anything to do.
Wow.
So, so I will say if you plan to retire early and move to another country, you need to think of like what you want to do, like to, to fill up your day because otherwise you're just going to go stir crazy.
Wow. That's good to know.
So, yeah, there were times where he almost told me, let's move back.
Hmm. Yeah. I can see that because you're so used to, especially someone like Marcos, who is so used to every day doing something, or even when he didn't do something, it's just being familiar with your area and being able to talk to people or have something to do, to go to somewhere where you don't know anyone, you have family, but you don't speak the language, it's hard.
Yeah. And you know him, he's like wants to help people and
Yeah.
he was always so helpful and um people would come to him,
Hmm.
like at work, people would call him up like, hey, what do I do, for this, or it like always like call him for advice, or like people needed him.
Yeah.
And so here, when those calls stopped and no one needed him, I think he really struggled with that. Like he was like, I have no purpose here.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel it's just like an elderly person who retires, and then everyone, and you realize like friendships and stuff like that. You're like, wait, I thought I had friends, and people stop calling, and it kind of makes it feel that you feel like you're on an island by yourself, and you don't have those connections anymore. So that
He
is
really
that is
did.
definitely hard.
Yeah, he really did. He was pretty miserable for, I would say, a couple months. And I didn't know how to help him. Like I felt really helpless too because, like I tried to help him like, hey, like why don't you enroll in a class, or, take some Thai classes, or join a gym, or like, but he had no motivation. Like he
Yeah,
just lost purpose in his life, and it it had to be him to figure it out. Like I couldn't
hmm,
help him.
yeah. You
I
see,
didn't
feel like a
know.
depression, like.
Yeah, yeah, he
Hmm.
did. And I wasn't there. Like I didn't never got there because like I said, I had my mom, and I still talk to you and
Hmm.
my other friends, and
Yeah,
like he felt like all his other like friends moved on and he
yeah.
didn't have anybody. And
Hmm.
so it wasn't until we moved here and he found the gym
Hmm.
um that we go to now, that he just did a complete like 180, because now he has a goal. He's
Yeah.
trying to get in shape, get fit, and then be a trainer himself, and then also um like help other people. So
Yeah.
like there's a goal to attain, but if you don't have that, yeah, it's hard.
And I think, especially for you guys, when you went into it with one mindset that, hey, we're going to travel while we're here, we're going to go to this beach and that beach. And then Stella said, wait, I want to go to school. And then that kind of changed the direction of what you guys thought you were going to do. So it definitely is hard. And like you said, getting into a groove, and especially if you're a quiet person, because Marcos is, quiet to himself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
going
like
to take time.
I couldn't push him to like, hey, why don't you, go talk to the other guys at the gym,
Yeah.
because they don't speak the language either. It's like this language barrier, and then
Hmm.
he's ending up having to like, hey, can you come translate for me? And it's like that's no fun,
No, that's not fun.
So
It's like your mom coming along
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but he did like see, so the thing is like, the one gym that was, calling him, that interviewed him for a job,
Yeah.
there were other trainers there that were foreign,
Okay.
so like hear from nurse. And so it was like, oh no, the guy was, I think, Brazilian or something. So he
Oh,
could communicate with him. And so
yeah.
it's like, that's where his excitement came up. He's like, well, if I become a trainer, I'm going to meet more people and I'm going to be able to, maybe find a little like community.
Yeah. And like I said, getting out there more, just the more you get out there with anything, you'll start making friends and making those connections. Oh, well, I love speaking to you guys. I've been having so much fun. I know we didn't get onto the healthcare system and like what that has been like. So real quick, can you tell me about healthcare? Have you guys been able to use healthcare there? Is healthcare affordable for people who are thinking about that?
So we've thought about getting insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was getting quotes, it was pretty pricey. So,
Mm.
and I just kind of like, asked around for advice. Like, I asked my mom, who is in her 70s. Yeah, she's in her late 70s. And she told me she doesn't have any health insurance. She said if she has any, issues or health issues or any ailments or anything, she just goes to the hospital. And it's, she gets right in and just pays per visit. And it's
Okay.
not that expensive. So, I think we're just going to kind of do that. And I've had a couple things here and there where I've had to get checked. Like I had a mole that came up that, was like scary for me because I thought, oh no, I have skin cancer.
Oh gosh.
So
Yeah.
to a dermatologist and luckily, it wasn't. And they were like, oh, it's just a mole. We could take that right off. It cost me, I think, like $90. They
Oh,
lasered it right in. Same day, no appointment, just let's go in, take that right off. If you don't want it,
nice.
you know, we'll laser it off. So yeah, $90. What was it? Oh yeah, the other day, like I had to go get my ear checked because I thought I got like, like some water in my ear, and again another like $50 visit, and got in and out. I mean, like, so it's not, yeah, it's not like a huge cost. Like we don't have to like save up a ton of money to like make a
To
doctor's
go.
visit. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's perfect. What about selling her braces?
So her braces, so we thought that that was going to be a huge cost, but we found out like there's a ton of dentists here, and
Okay.
you just have to find one that has an orthodontist, and we found one, and it's just $45 a visit. So yeah, so
Seriously?
we figured out because in this in the States, her braces were gonna cost, I think, like $7,000 because I had paid initially for the Invisalign to widen her, her roof of her mouth,
Yeah.
and then her braces cost 5,000. So that was like the second step. Um, so luckily, we were halfway into treatments, so I got reimbursed like 2,000 back before I
Uh-huh.
left. And so I kind of saved that. And then here, it's not like a huge expense. It's just like, okay, it's $45 a visit until she's done. And I asked them, like, how long do you think this treatment will take? And they're like, 12, maybe 18 months. So I was like, oh, $45 a visit for a year and a half? That's like less than $2,000.
Nice. Oh my gosh. And do you know how much it would have been if you had to get the braces on there?
I didn't ask that.
Okay.
But I don't imagine it would have been like $7,000.
Wow. And I know the facility is state of the art, right? Is it
It's pretty nice. Yeah. It's
compared to
pretty
this
nice.
here?
I would say it's a level up. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that healthcare is not something that you have to get insurance, that you can just basically pay per visit and $45, $50 here, maybe $90 there. Stella's never sick, so I know she probably hasn't had to go to the doctor. This kid never gets sick, so yeah.
I know. I don't know what's going on with her immune system, but
Yeah.
it's so strong.
So strong, so strong. We all need to be like Stella. Okay, well, that's not bad. Well, again, I really appreciate you taking the time. Where can people find you on social media?
I have TikTok, and my handle on TikTok, I think, is Nancy C. Rodriguez.
Okay.
Mainly TikTok. I don't really use Facebook anymore. However, I do have an account. And that's really it. I'm just trying to grow TikTok right now. And focus on that. Just because I know like everybody's on that.
Gotcha.
So, if I do, upload any content, it'll be there.
Okay. Well, it's really, I told Nancy that she needs to be a person who's like organizes your trip and stuff like that because she's amazing at that. She's amazing at so many things. So hopefully we'll get her on too. But we appreciate you, Nancy, for taking the time and just chit chatting with us. So thanks.
Got me upset.